Quill Fix. Read by Quill. Musical Love. Written by Ruin Queen of Oblivion. Read by Quill. Octavia smiled as she finished playing the last set for her concert to the applause of the ponies watching. She smiled as she gave a bow to the crowd before heading backstage, where she was greeted by an enthusiastic vinyl scratch. "Hey, love, how'd you like the show?" she asked. Vinyl smiled and nodded as she nuzzled the earth pony gently. Octavia had been surprised to learn that the beautiful and energetic DJ Palm3 was a mute from birth, but she was a sweet pony that always had gone out of her way to make her happy in the 3 years they had been dating. We're coming up on another Hearts and Hooves Day next week. I can't wait to see what you've planned for me this year," Octavia said with a smile. Vinyl had always surprised her with something special on Hearts and Hooves Day. Heck, last year she had gotten her a private concert done by Elegant Voice, who was one of Octavia's biggest influences in music. Vinyl's ears drooped a little, and she shook her head as she levitated her schedule over to Octavia. Vinyl had concerts leading up to Hearts and Hooves Day, which meant she wasn't going to be able to plan anything big this year. She looked at Octavia apologetically. "It's okay, Vinyl. I'll just be glad to have you with me," Octavia said, and gave the DJ a kiss. She was disappointed, sure, but she understood that she'd be busy. "I love you, Vinyl." Vinyl smiled and kissed her back, nuzzling her gently. She really loved Octavia, and while she never could tell her in words, she made sure that she showed her love for the amazing mare every day. She just hoped that Octavia wasn't too disappointed, especially given what she had in mind. The two mares headed out of the concert hall and towards home. There was something nice about just cuddling with your mare friend after a concert. She was laying on the couch with Vinyl resting on her chest, smiling with her eyes closed. Octavia smiled and stroked her mare friend's spiked mane gently as she thought back to when they had first met. Octavia had just graduated from the Canterlot Music Academy and was looking for a place to settle down, so she went to Ponyville to look into moving there. Vinyl had been the first pony she met while she was there. Vinyl had been looking for a roommate at the time, and Octavia couldn't afford to pay rent on her own anyway, so they agreed to split rent. While they had their differences when it started, mostly because of Vinyl's loud music, Octavia quickly learned that her roommate was a sweet and loving mare. She was surprised to see Vinyl's violet eyes staring up at her with a perplexed look on her face. It was her way of asking what Octavia was thinking about. "I'm just thinking about how we met," Octavia said with a smile as she nuzzled her gently, making Vinyl smile. "I love you, Vinyl. You're the best mare friend a pony could ask for." Vinyl smiled and shook her head, then pointed her hoof at Octavia. This made the earth pony giggle and kiss her mare friend gently on the nose. She was just happy to have Vinyl there with her. It was going to be slow for a few days, but at least she'd get to spend some time with Vinyl. She smiled and closed her eyes, and just enjoyed the feeling of being close to Vinyl. "Hey, Octavia, how's it going today?" Lyra asked as Octavia came into Bonbon's sweet shop in town the next day. "Good. Vinyl had to leave for Manhattan, so yeah," Octavia said as Lyra looked at her sympathetically. "Yeah, she's going to be busy this week, so I don't really know what to do." "Oh, well, that's a shame," Lyra said and looked thoughtful for a moment. "So you don't have any concerts coming up?" "No, not until next month," Octavia said. It was going to be a pretty slow month for her, and last night's was the last concert for a while. "No, you could always do something for Vinyl," Bonbon suggested as she trotted over to them with Octavia's order. "I'll bet she'd like that." "Yeah, but what?" Octavia asked. "I don't really know what I could do for her. I mean, she's done so much for me, I really should repay her somehow." "Tavi, don't worry. Vinyl loves you for who you are. She'll like whatever you do for her," Lyra said with a smile. "Besides, you're a clever mare. I'm sure you'll think of something." Octavia thought for a moment. It was true she and Vinyl didn't have many interests in common, other than music and each other, of course. Maybe there was something she could do music-related. "Yes, I think I might have an idea already," Octavia said with a smile as she gave the bits to Bonbon. Thank you, and I hope you two have a lovely Hearts and Hooves day as well. Oh, we certainly will, Lyra said with a giggle while she kissed Bon Bon on the cheek. Octavia just smiled and trotted out of the shop with her food. So you want to record a song for your mare friend? Neon Glow, the pony that Octavia and Vinyl frequently went to for this kind of thing, asked. Yes, I know it's a bit short notice, but Hearts and Hooves Day is coming up and Octavia started to say, which got a smile out of Neon. It was a couple of days later, and Octavia had been working hard on making sure that it was just right. Say no more, I'll get it recorded for you, Neon said with a smile. You two really helped my career when I first recorded for you. It's the least I can do. Thanks, Neon, Octavia said as she entered the recording studio and set up her cello and the music. I'm ready to go. Recording starting in 3, 2, 1, Neon said, and gave the signal to Octavia. She began to play the song she had written. It was energetic and full of spirit. She didn't have to give it any lyrics. She had poured all her love into making sure this song was just right. As she played, she thought of Vinyl, of all the wonderful times they had together, of how special she really was to her, and most importantly, how she wanted to spend the rest of her life with the DJ. She wondered if Vinyl felt the same way. She knew the unicorn loved her, but she didn't know if she wanted to spend the rest of their lives together. Right now, she just had to focus on her playing. She finally finished playing and put the bow down as Neon finished recording and gave her a nod. That was beautiful. Do you want me to do anything special with it? Neon asked as Octavia was packing up. Just make sure it's all ready for Hearts and Hooves Day, Octavia said with a smile as she gave Neon a quick hug. Thanks. This means a lot to me. You're welcome, Octavia. Just promise you'll consider letting me release it. That was really good work, Neon said. I'll think about it, sure, Octavia said with a smile. She really just wanted this for Vinyl, but it was definitely worth considering. I'll see you next time. Neon nodded, and Octavia headed out. A few more days passed before Hearts and Hooves Day finally came around. Neon had come through and brought the record to her the day before. She was finishing setting up the Hearts and Hooves Day dinner that she had planned when she felt the familiar sensation of legs wrapping around her. Hey there, Vinyl, Octavia said with a smile as she turned and nuzzled the off-white unicorn gently. How were your shows? Vinyl smiled but wiped her forehead with her hoof. It sounded like they had been tiring for her. She then smiled and kissed Octavia and patted her chest gently. It was worth it for me? Octavia asked, tilting her head a little. What did Vinyl mean by that? Vinyl nodded and nuzzled her again. I love you, Vinyl. Vinyl smiled and kissed Octavia gently before trotting over to the table. I know it's nothing extravagant, but I did make you something, Octavia said with a smile as she trotted over to the record player and put on the record she had made before joining her mare friend at the table. The two ate as the music played. Vinyl was really enjoying it as she smiled at Octavia knowingly. She pointed her hoof at the record player and then at herself as she gave Octavia a smile. Yes, I made it for you, Vinyl. I wanted to do something special for you, like you always do for me, Octavia said and leaned over and kissed Vinyl gently on the cheek. I know you were busy this year, and that's okay. I love you anyway. Vinyl just grinned and shook her head as she reached over and patted Octavia. You did do something for me this year? Octavia asked curiously. She was confused. Vinyl had been acting like she hadn't done anything. What is it? To her surprise, Vinyl got up and levitated a small box out of its hiding spot. Then she knelt down and opened it, revealing a beautifully crafted ring with their cutie marks made out of amethyst and diamonds. Octavia raised her hoof to her muzzle and gasped when she realized what was happening. Are you asking me? She started to ask, and Vinyl nodded, pressing her hoof to Octavia's chest again, then to her own. Octavia was amazed. She didn't think that Vinyl would be doing this. It took her a moment to gather her thoughts to even figure out how to answer her. She hugged Vinyl and kissed her long and passionately. For a long moment, it was as if the two of them were the only ponies in the world. They held the kiss for a few minutes before breaking it, but Octavia didn't want to let go of Vinyl. Yes, I'll marry you, Vinyl Scratch. she said with a smile and nuzzled her again. The two of them were happier than they had ever been.